What's up, everybody? Episode 249. Got that number out of the way. We know the number matters the most, right? In podcast, the number. What episode was that? Oh, that was 136. If you knew them that way, you could use it. Otherwise, you got to look it up, find out what it is, tell your friend that's what episode it was and what time mark. But anyways, guys, we're here. Josh is here. Ben is here. Nick's probably not joining once again. We're going to have to figure out. Oh, wait, the name of the show's already changed. We're going to have to figure out what's going on. He's working his new job. We'll see how that unfolds for the rest of the year. Josh, Ben, how you doing? Good. You don't sound like a robot. That's good. What's up, Josh?
Ben's out on the road cruising around, and I am at home in New Hampshire and doing good. It is like classic, like late summer New England weather. Beautiful day. And I'm in my closed office, but ready to talk about disc golf.
Guys, I got an ace today. I'm curious if it's a backyard ace is an ace, and I'll let Gannon decide when he's in town, because I know he's got the most opinions on that. But it was in my established course on my property. And Ben, you haven't played it yet. It is so fun. It's going to be part of Labor Day League for Pyramids. So it's like 175 feet. 175
Are we gonna
feet.
Do a cookout?
And like a show cookout. I don't know. I'm doing cookouts back-to-back weekends.
No, I mean like how we did the backyard.
That's what
bonanza.
Probably not. Maybe it would be like fall-ish. Like we'll figure it out. But 175 feet-ish. I think it's in that range. I step up and I'm trying to throw a perfect round on this course, which is actually hard to do. I can throw over par, under par, but I was 5 down going into a hole that had to birdie, and I was like, I just threw it in, and it was awesome with my kids celebrating. We did it a 7 down.
That's
so
awesome.
Shout out to TitanDiscGolf.com. You knew it was coming. Everyone's like, hey, they didn't talk about TitanDiscGolf.com.
Of course we did.
Of course we do. Competitive pricing over 35,000 discs. I've said it once. I'll say it again. Some people say we say it too much. I mean, Josh and I are wearing hats on top of it. Hey, these dudes deserve all of this exposure that we can give. They have their own line of exposure. They don't need us, but man, we can help drive that business. 35,000 discs, free shipping over $75. I've been in their store. Granted, that's not TitanDiscGolf.com. That's in their store. Very cool. The whole tech disc simulation setup there. So many discs that are not even a part of this online store. So if someone buys something in person, it's different than what's available online. So you're talking a whole selection of 35,000 different discs. Yeah. So shout out to TitanDiscGolf.com. I saw that Matt Schlabach came out. Gannon, did you have to do a little arm wrestling the night before? Be like, bro, I'm out here caddying, and like he shows up to do steaks. Like,
no, he showed up for a day just for steak night. Yeah, that's what happened. And then he drove back. Wow, it's so funny.
Dude's a traveling man, and I mean Gannon, everybody, but like
World
he just got back and he's out there. Well, so shout out to TitanDiscGolf.com. We love what they're doing. Full support from us to them for sure. And we hope from you to them as well. If you haven't bought a disc or even perused their website, check it out. You know the address, TitanDiscGolf.com. Wow. There's so much to talk about from Ledgestone Open. We're still not sure about a guest officially for tonight. Stay tuned, per usual, these live podcasts as they are. Josh,
Ledgestone, I think Ledgestone, I mean, it's longevity. I mean, we don't usually interview TDs. We interviewed Nate last week. Ledgestone's got a lot of history, and I feel like in many ways it always delivers. Last year was weird because of the course dynamics, but this year back with Northwood Black, obviously not only black, what do they call the FPO's layout? Blue or shorts or whatever it is, but
black short.
Okay. So you've got those courses, and then obviously Sunset Hills and Eureka. And just I feel like I look forward to this event every year. I feel like the players come out hard, usually a big payout. And again, we like things that have history because they kind of carry a reputation. And I think we saw it this week. And Matt, yeah, we can talk about some of the different fun debatable topics, because there actually are a handful. But before we get to any of the like debate topics, we can just kind of walk through and talk about how FPO and MPO went down. Ben, what was it like being out there at the event? Does the event live up to the hype? Because I know we're following the pro side, but I also know there's like 1,000 other people, disc golfers around the whole place.
Yeah, the event's awesome. Nate and his team do a great job. Gannon was very happy, I know, about it. Just very well run. Bunch of cool things. I wasn't able to go to the Fly Mart, really. I was there for like the last 30 minutes on Saturdays, but that looked super fun and cool. And there was just a bunch of cool little just side things that made the fan experience really good. And just the tournament in general, like Northwood Blacks is one of the hardest courses on tour, and just it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. And
were
like,
you able to throw any shots there, Ben? Like any part of practice or anything? No,
maybe I don't know.
I get it.
It's your first time seeing that course, right, Ben, in person?
Yes.
And does it look as hard as we hear it is?
Doesn't look as hard, but that's because I'm watching the best player in the world throw it. If I threw it, it probably would be really hard. But I will say they did a great job, because Gannon was telling me before the fairways were kind of just like botched. Now it's like, this is why Northwood backs hard. The fairways are there. They're clean and clear. There's some trees that protect. There's some fairways where, like, once you get close to the green, that it's kind of like spray and pray. But like, most of the time there's at least like a line. It's fair, and if you kick into the rough, then it's really rough. So that's, I think, why it's so hard. But like, if you're hitting your lines, then you'll have no problem.
Yeah, just visually, purely through the television screen, it does look like it continues to clean up nice every year. Just a little bit more.
It was super clean.
I forget when we first saw it. Time flies, so I'm not even going to try to guess. Is it 5 years old now? It still feels like a fresh course, but anyway, it's been there for a while. But yeah, I remember seeing it when it was brand new, how hard it was and how rough it looked. And even then, I think they had done a ton of work. Like, they didn't skimp, but it's hard to cut in a new course on some rough terrain. But anyway, this event delivers. Obviously, the course in that narrative is part of it. But FPO, I mean, we can talk down the leaderboard a little bit. There's actually a bunch of different stories. But fast forwarding 4 rounds, because it's an Elite Series event, all the way to the end, we get into a playoff, and we'll talk about some of that, but I'm just jumping to the punchline. So getting the spoilers out of the way right up front. Valerie Mondihano, we haven't seen her.
I know. Since the injury.
We haven't seen her win since 2023. Now, that's not that long ago, but at that point, we were talking about Valerie being like in that top tier. And then it was she sprained her ankle, right? I believe. I know it was an ankle. I just don't remember if it was a sprain. And really, like, it took a long time to come back from that. And I'm not sure if that's the only factor, but we've seen Valerie perform here and there. But anyway, great to see her back. Her and Owen Scoggins, the reigning world champ, which is still crazy to say, take it to a playoff in a scorching hot final round. Owen was chase card, right? Shoots a 8 down final round, maybe surprises them a bit. I don't know if you see the DGN showed it numerous times, but Cat Merch kind of totally surprised.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Matt, we're seeing a graphic.
Yeah, we'll fix that in a second.
We'll talk about that in a second.
You can keep talking. Our listeners don't know what's going on, but I can't switch it for some reason, so I'll fix that.
All right, no worry. The DGN showed it numerous times. Cat Merch's face, like in total shock when she realized, like, oh, Val didn't just win. No, Owen came back to tie it. They go into repeating hole 18, which I think that's an interesting discussion. I'll throw it out there right now. Any reactions, Ben, again, seeing it in person, I don't know if the dynamics are different, but from coverage, I was actually fine with hole 18 on repeat because of the way it played out. In other words, in hindsight, I thought it was fine. Matt shaking his head no.
You clarified. You said in hindsight, but there's no way you know hindsight going into these things. That's a whole nother discussion. I get it. So you're saying like, yay, hooray, at least it went down this way. That's kind of what I hear you saying. You're like, yay, I'm glad it went down this way. It worked.
Right, but then now I would use that as proof in saying that's why it's like a fine way to play it. Like that
No
proves out that point.
Because it could go the other way.
Well, you can always say that. My point is,
which is
like
worse.
Owen literally had 2 circle 2 putts to win it. The first playoff hole had a chance to win it. Second playoff hole had a chance to win it. And by the way, the third playoff hole, Val birdies it. So like there were 3 like, you know, attempts.
Val went 5-4-3. I get it. So it worked out to your point. And I also get why they do it. The 1 hole on repeat.
Right. Yeah.
There's a whole tournament going on. It's not just this lead card. Like I get it. Yep. And I also get any other style can also go to additional holes. Even if they did aggregate of certain holes, 3 holes, aggregate, see what the score is. Like no matter what they did, you could go, oh, we're doing it again. The only difference is on 1 hole, nobody wants to see that 3 times in a row or 4 times in a row or 6 times in a row. Like that it can happen. You honestly don't even want to see it 2 times in a row. That's all I'm saying about it. It can play out good, but you don't want to see that. Like we just watched it. We're literally watching them walk back to play it again. I will say the second time, you're kind of okay with it. You're like, all right, let's see if they can fix their mistake, especially when they both bogeyed. Like you want to see that fixed. But let's just say they kept going birdie, birdie, birdie. Like that's pretty good, but it's super boring too. It's just hard to make it exciting.
We saw that different dynamic at the European event.
Exactly.
Drawing a name on the blank.
So I'm just going to say, like, it is what it is. I don't think it's a rule issue.
Yes.
I don't think the TD has a lot of leeway with that. But that being said, it would be a lot more exciting if it was aggregate or they would play different holes with sudden death. Either way. That's just my take. It'd be way more exciting.
I don't think it was a bad hole, though.
It's not a bad hole. Not the way.
That's more what I was saying. Because by the way, if you listen to like,
I think
FPO Jomez, like they were hating on it. Now most of the commenters disagree with their perspective. It was kind of brutal. They sounded like complaining. Like,
well, when you're not and I'm actually this is going to sound like you just talked about them, and now I'm talking about them. I'm just going to say in general, if you're not a top 10, top 15 FPO player, by stats or however you want to look at it, that hole is going to play not awesome.
Yeah.
Your first shot's going to be mediocre. Your second shot's going to be mediocre. You're going to have a kind of a little bit of a boring, like up to try to get par, and you might mess that up and get a bogey. It's going to feel boring.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. And by the way, like I'm bouncing around, but really quick, they didn't play hole 18 3 holes in a row, Matt. They play it 4 holes in a row. So that's interesting because they finished the tournament on hole 18.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. Right. Thank you for adding on to that. That did feel
right.
Bad.
Just saying literally, it's like, yeah, wow, we're just playing it. It's also interesting in the 4 rounds. So 4-round Elite Series tournament, only 2 FPO players birdied that hole all event. Only 2 birdies.
Yeah. Excluding
Val's to win it, right? So yeah, it's definitely a really challenging hole. So I'm sure that's part of the dynamic. Anyway, so congrats to Val. We will talk about what happened on the second playoff hole in a moment, because that's an interesting and fun conversation that I think ultimately had no ultimate bearing on the outcome, which is why I'm kind of stalling for that topic. We'll come back to it because I think I'm actually really intrigued by it. But congrats to Val. Congrats to Owen for celebrating Val's victory. We all know that. I mean, Owen is like still, I mean, it's not, we already knew this, so I'm just saying it to prove the point. Not a fluke that Owen won Worlds. I mean, she's just a good FPO player. Here she is coming right back at Ledgestone, another well-fought for event, and almost wins with a crazy putting. And tell me, if you were watching live, that when Owen steps up in the playoff for a circle 2 putt 2 times, are you betting that she hits that? I am, because the way she,
I thought she was going to hit it. Yeah.
Only because like she's just been doing it. I don't know if like all year long. Yeah. Like, I don't know if all year long you always like think she would, but right now coming off of Worlds in this event, I mean, she is just like crazy.
I expected her.
Honest.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I expected her to do at least what she did, which was a splash out, meaning at least hit something. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'll be honest. I wasn't expecting Val to hit that last putt she hit. I thought we were going to go to another playoff. Kudos to her for hitting it.
That was
because she hit a crazy putt, not like a crazy putt, but given the situation to get into the playoff, 25-footer, that's not an easy putt when it's to tie and
Yeah.
it's to tie. But to hit that for the win, dead center, I was like, props.
Yeah, and like I said, getting a birdie on that hole when only 2 people birdied it all tournament.
And
so she birdied to win it.
Josh, you said
I did not know that. That's crazy.
You said this. You're like, in hindsight, because you're right. It was a good moment. Someone won with a birdie. But definitely didn't have to go that way. And I think we could have been stuck with pars and bogeys on repeat. And frankly, to Ben's point, he didn't even think she was going to hit it. It would have just kept happening.
Keep pushing. And keeping of pushing is a match play term, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Push.
So you can't. Can you push in a playoff? No, you can't push. You can just be tied and continue playing your playoff holes. And I'm being a little bit facetious in calling that out because I think we saw. So let's just talk about it for a minute or two before we get to MPO. We saw, for people who watched it know exactly what we saw. The first hole, they both get a bogey. Let's go to the second playoff hole, which is hole 18 again. And Owen has this long putt like we just talked about. She actually sails it long and then hits the comeback. I don't know, like 20-something feet, probably a little bit around a tree, but, Owen smashes it. And Valerie had already, she was probably within 10 feet, 8 feet, 5 feet maybe. It's pretty much a drop in.
3 feet.
Well, right. She's not literally over the basket, but it's practically a drop in, right? 5 feet, lean forward, kind of just shove it in. And Owen basically treats it like it's a match play hole. Now, we can understand why it feels that way, because in essence, you're playing those holes like match play, because you just have to outplay one person. But she looks to Val and probably says real words, but we kind of just see her lips, which is like, hey, I'm gonna concede that putt. I'm counting that putt. Do you want me to pick up your disc and bring it to you?
Or it might not, again, I don't know if it was, the word concede would be from the other direction from Val, but I would say that it was along those lines of hey, I'm giving you that putt.
Right.
That you don't have to make that putt. That happens in match play. Go ahead and pick it up. We're going to the next hole.
Exactly. I'm not going to make you walk over here and putt it. You're obviously going to hit it.
More or less agrees, right?
Val agrees.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
Owen
Thanks for
picks
picking it up.
Everything's cordial. I mean, and honestly, again, I'll have my opinion in a minute, but I think in many ways, Owen is doing it out of respect. Let's play the next hole. There's nothing weird about that dynamic.
Yes.
Except for the fact, we can answer this. I actually think I know what she's thinking. So maybe this is a rhetorical, but what is she thinking? And I'm not knocking them as doing anything problematic, but I don't know about you all, but literally you don't have to actually ask my wife, but I was sitting on the couch watching and in real time, before Nate Heinold interrupts, who's the TD on the course there, I say, what in the world is happening? I say that out loud because I'm so confused at why Owen just picked up Val's disc and is handing to Val.
So have you ever played a PDGA round with on a card with someone new to tournaments? This might have happened more back in the AM2 days or AM1 or AM3.
But so much.
What happens often is
flipping a disc, picking up
and
putts.
Someone might want to come up and even be literally pick up their disc that's 2 feet from the basket and walk to the next hole. And you'll be like, whoa,
right.
whoa. You'll be like, you have to make that. Or they'll be like, hey, you don't have to make that. You can just pick it up. And I'm going, I'm a seasoned tournament player. Dude, it doesn't work that way. You have to hole out. So here's these are veteran players. You have to hole out. I don't think they have a question in their head. It would be weird if somebody didn't hole out. So the only thing that I can factor here is that they're stressed. Actually, as part of this, they're stressed. And they're in a playoff, which Own in her brain said this is match play style.
Match play. Yeah.
So that's how we're playing it. But for Val to respond with that's cool. What I'm saying is that's weird to me. Her brain is also in the same place. Her brain is in the same place. So
yes, but go back. Well, maybe her brain's it's generically in the same place, Matt. But I don't know if she was thinking I should pick it up. I think it was probably Owen just suggested to me to pick it up. And it's happening so fast.
That's what I'm saying.
The cameras are on you the moment, so you're just sure. because there's no way, well, this is my opinion. We don't really know this. We'd have to interview and ask. There's no way she's sitting there thinking, oh, I don't have to go putt that. She's probably about to walk up and putt it.
That. Yeah.
Right. She's about to walk up and putt it.
Live and in the moment.
But this is, so Matt, that's the second playoff hole. On the first playoff hole, it's a very similar, it's not exactly the same, similar situation. How come Owen doesn't pick up the disc then? You can go watch it. It's very, very similar. Val walks up and putts it in.
Probably because Val walks up to do it.
Right. So, but I'm just saying, so even more so it blows my mind.
Yes,
to be like,
but
it's
Josh,
not match play. Everybody's putting everything.
In match play, I know you definitely don't do it as much as we do. In Team Challenge, we do it.
Yeah.
Every month throughout the whole off season, if you will, we're playing match play. There are many times though, Josh, where it'll be like, I'm going to make you putt that 5-foot shot here, but on the next hole, I'm not. I'm trying to get in your head a little bit. That happens. I'm not suggesting Owen did that. Like, I'm going to make her putt the first one, but that's possible, right? She's like, she'll putt the first one. Oh, look, it's easy. Val's not going to miss that. Next time around, here's the respect. You can pick it up. That is how match play will unfold. So I think we can just explain this by saying match play was on the forefront of the brain. That's what unfolded. Val in the moment, live, pressured, stressed, whatever, is just like, oh, okay, like, let's just do it. Nate catches it. So there's two parts to this I'd like to do.
Thank goodness.
Okay, yeah, so there's two parts to this. Let's wrap up the, like, FPO, like, rules part of that, and then let's talk about a little bit of, like, how that involvement from
how it was
director.
Like, how it was handled, right?
Yeah.
But let me just, Matt, so before we move on to that part, and then Ben, you're literally sitting between Matt and I, at least virtually. So I'm
trying to get someone on. That's why.
No, that's fine. I was going to say, if you need to cut us off, you're like the middleman.
No,
if not, we're going to keep. All right.
Keep going.
So Matt, I get all of that. I am just still like kind of blown away though that like that can happen. That's all I'm saying. Literally, I will go as far as saying, like, I was like disappointed in the two FPO players who are trying to win the biggest event that weekend in our sport. And they're doing that. I'm telling you, before even Nate stepped in, I was just like, what is happening? Like we ran junior events and like that doesn't happen.
Well, if you describe how it happened, the context of how it happened, I'm not as disappointed. You could say you're disappointed in that it happened. I understand that. But the context of it, it's a play. It's not regular scoring. It's regular scoring, but it's in extra holes, if you will. So like the mindset does shift.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
So, all right. So, and I'll let us move on. The only thing I will say is, even though like I'm kind of generically disappointed, I want to actually be clear. You know what I think? I think Owen is she cares so much about her competitors and has fun and is truly genuine that I think it was a sign of respect.
Yes.
Like, in other words, it wasn't even like, ooh, I wonder if Val might miss a 5-footer and I could win. Right. Because like, I might think that. I might think like, ooh, what if that just splashes out and I get it? I think Owen's like, I wouldn't even want to win that way. I'm going to let you pick up the disc. So like, I think that is Owen's mindset, which actually might be what like throws her off, right? It's kind of like, I wouldn't even want to win that way. I'm not going to force you to putt it. Last thing is like, isn't it great? Then Val walks up, tosses a mini down, which lands upside down, keeps her bag on and putts it. And I'm sitting there thinking like, oh my goodness, can you imagine if she like missed that? Anyway, Matt, I am so glad I'm making it sound like it's an issue, because of how it was handled, which some people are going to disagree with. But for me, I'm so glad it wasn't an issue.
All right. So moving into the next step of this situation, which, by the way, it played out with Valerie winning. And again, depending on how you want the rule to be assigned, and some would say, well, the right way, but depending on that, could change your perspective here. But I'm going to go ahead and show my cards. I think the rule and the spirit of the game included together, because that helps with interpreting the rule. Just like the Constitution, you got to, that's a tough one, but the rules, you got to kind of know that this ended up playing out the right way. Where Val won, you kind of say, good, I'm glad that happened, and it washed it away. Kind of like, well, that's for the talking point later, and say there's another thing that comes up with that. But So because of that, congrats, to Valerie. Now, Nate Heinel walks up and ultimately is doing what you're doing, Josh, which was like, hey,
I'm so glad he caught it.
you guys, you can't do that. Like, almost like, yeah.
Hey, there's this obvious thing. You're playing disc golf. You got to put the
Yeah.
disc in the basket.
Yeah. Like, he just kind of did one of those, like, yeah, but no, but you can't just pick up the disc and walk away. Like, he kept trying to be like, they're like, yeah, but she said it was okay, or this or that, or I offered it, Owen is saying. Like, everyone doesn't want to get in trouble there. They're all trying to, like, help each other. And he's just like, yeah, but you still have to finish the hole. Like, you're literally not holding out. And had she thrown another shot, we're having a whole different conversation.
Then it's a mess.
So
he saved that. He saved that.
Yes. Now, Josh, there are people.
I know.
Who are going to
I'm
say.
going to set the record straight, but go ahead.
People that are going to say that here's Nate Heinold messing things up. And in their words, per usual.
He saved the FPO tournament.
So what are his options? Let it happen. Nobody says anything. People catch it on the internet. And they want to say, oh, I guess, in this situation, Owen shouldn't have won or Valerie shouldn't have won because that happened. And I don't think that's the case. I think him saying, place your mini down and continue on, in the moment with the way that unfolded, you cannot say that Owen intentionally interfered. Now, if we break it down with just words, did she intentionally interfere, got in and adjusted something? Absolutely. But when you take what is the meaning of intentionally interfere, it's to alter or change. And it has that implication of, I'm trying to change the outcome here, whether it's by movement or whatever it is. Like, I'm trying to change the outcome. And you can say, well, she was trying to get Val to go on to the next shot. Yes. I don't think the intentionality to interfere was anything other than this very, very similar to, I'm looking to check and see the name on the back of the disc, which we do allow. Now you can say, well, Matt, it's not in the rules. It doesn't say that. You can pick a disc up and hand it off. But I feel like it's in this very same sentiment to that. So good job.
So I'm going to add, so good job. I want to add one thing that I actually feel like some of the media outlets are missing. And Matt, I'm going to add this to what you're saying. I understand the debate around intentional and interfere. So what you said is fine. Listen, okay. It says, a player who intentionally interferes with another player's disc in any of the following ways. Okay? And then one of the ways that seems to apply is this: moving or obscuring a thrown disc or marker disc. And then in parentheses, which, why is nobody reading this? Other than in the process of identification, retrieval, marking, or as allowed by. Owen was retrieving a disc. Now, it was a mistake, which means if they had not corrected it, it would have ended up in a misplay. But literally, one of the things that it makes an exception for is retrieving a disc, which is what Owen was doing. That's why that rule does not apply to what Owen did. She was retrieving a disc. Now, it was mistaken, right? So it would have ended up in a misplay had they not corrected it. But because it was corrected, the rule F2 doesn't actually apply because the parentheses make an exception for it. Anyway, Matt, we can probably be done on this. I actually think sometimes these are fun debates, and here's why: because it influences how we think about the game and how it should be played.
Well,
but I'm so glad that's actually, I think it's a non-issue as far as the way this tournament actually ended.
Yeah, it's just, something for us to talk about as a disc golf show. But what I will say in conclusion is a few other notes, and you're going to say, well, it's a different scenario. Remember Calvin Longquist? It came to my mind immediately. The dude picked it up thinking it was his disc. That's even a different scenario. He didn't get stroked.
That's different, right?
Should he have? Should he have not? But that happened. Also, in conclusion of this topic, I want to jump over to my notes real quick because Do you remember the interaction with Owen at the property at Ledgestone in previous years, where Owen couldn't find a parking spot and supposedly flipped off,
Yes. Yeah.
allegedly flipped off one of the parking attendants, and Nate Heinold walked down the fairway after she had already done a certain amount of holes and said, like, ultimately you're getting a courtesy violation. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure.
I will say Nate, now you could say, is he applying the rules correctly? But Nate's not one to just like teeter on like, am I going to call a rule? So it's not him here trying to be like, hey, I'm trying to give, one way or another for somebody to get an advantage. But let's just say, Josh, he didn't call that and he's standing there. What is the outrage against Nate Heinold? He didn't call it. He calls it and he allows this to happen. Now that they're saying he should have called it. I want to wrap up this by saying, remember Kristen Lott earlier in the year with the foot fault and the marshal calling it and people saying, no, like that shouldn't have happened. Let the players play. Like that had zero advantage in disc golf, right? You had some saying, well, it is a rule if you touch your discs during the whatever. All I'm trying to say here is people don't want that called. But then if someone had called this and said this is a penalty, people would be outraged at that. I think it was the right call. People want it to be a non-call. Like you want it to be a non-call there. Like don't ruin the competition because of that. All right. That's all I have about that. It looks like the link I sent Ben worked. What's the deal? Did we line up?
I said we haven't even talked about the MPO winner. Who is it? Who won? We haven't even talked about it on the show this week.
Yeah.
Gannon Buhr.
All right, here we go. Bring him in. Whoa, the old time. I thought that was a placeholder from previous years. What's up, dude?
What's up? Chilling. We just got to Kentucky for the Idlewild and just got the Airbnb. So we're just chilling here. About to go to Texas Roadhouse tonight again.
I love Texas
So
Roadhouse.
I'm hyped for that.
We have more important things to talk about, but like, what's your primary order at Texas Roadhouse? Is it just like a steak, or are you going chicken, or what are you doing?
Oh, I have a steak.
Yeah, I get a 12-ounce ribeye medium with sometimes I kind of go between sides. I go house salad and then sometimes a baked potato with butter or mac and cheese. I even got fries last night, but
And 7 bread rolls.
4, and then 7 rolls with a ton of butter.
The cinnamon butter, cinnamon sugar.
Yeah, we're
So
very
good.
similar, right? Because I'm appetizing on the rolls, and then I'm getting the cheese fries, and I'm getting a ribeye cooked medium with a baked potato loaded. So there we go.
I'll do the
Cheese
baked
fries.
potato
I'll have to
loaded,
try
and
that.
I'll do the green beans.
Oh, and a Caesar salad.
I get Caesar and chili. That's my go-to.
That's excellent.
He
also.
loves the chili.
I like the chili. All right. Well, anyway, maybe that's in celebration of the win. But we talked to you a lot, Gannon, but we haven't talked to you in
8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks.
and I feel like
Since China.
I feel like a lot. No, not even. We didn't since before China, before Europe.
Yeah. It was
Unless
okay. Oh, I know where it was. Des Moines. He was on the couch with Ben was on the couch with Gannon and 13 other guests at one time.
Yes. So all my point is, I think a lot has happened, Gannon, since then. A lot.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you feel like your life has changed, but from a disc golf standpoint, it certainly has. Has it been a whirlwind, both from a travel standpoint, and you are a world champ, a world games champ, a Ledgestone champ, 5-time Pro Tour major winner? What's going on?
It's weird. It's odd because I, accomplished everything I ever dreamed of. Honestly, like,
So are you retiring? Is this like
I'm announcing I'm retiring from the sport.
That'll do, my
going out on
friends.
top? Go out on top. That would be incredible.
I think like Scotty Scheffler said something pretty similar, but
Yes.
it's just like, you work really hard for the end goal, and then once you get it, it's not what you really thought it was, Like, and maybe a lot of that had to do with just the amount of travel I had to do. I never really got to enjoy the World Championship. Immediately after, I had a couple hours of media obligations, and then the next day, slept horrible, and then the next day I had to go straight on a, 2 7-hour flights to China, and then was trying to recover from jet lag there, then played for 7 days, and then
In crazy
Had
weather too, right? Really hot,
crazy
draining.
weather, super hot. I mean, same heat as it was at Ledgestone, and then it rained so hard, and then 30-hour travel day to then only get 1 day at home, and then drive 4.5 hours to then make my press conference at Ledgestone, to then play one practice round. Didn't even get to play Northwood Black at any point, and so I just haven't quit moving, and I mean, it'd be nice to have a break, but at the same time, like, I mean, I think what the World's Win did for me was just allow me to enjoy disc golf and obviously give me extra confidence. Like, I just know now that I can pretty much win whatever tournament I want. If I'm playing good, and if I lose, well, I got the World Championship, so I can always like fall back on that. And obviously, like I said, I didn't want to become the player that wins the Worlds but then just falls off. So it was nice to back it up with another win. So hopefully I can keep that streak going. I'm kind of hitting that point like I did last year, where I started to heat up quite a bit toward the end of the season. I mean, almost, it's been very odd how almost exactly the same the season has gone so far to this point. I started off my year with a missed, or sorry, that's not true. But I started off the year in Florida, playing decent, but not my best. And then, didn't really get a win until like, well, I had one win through like 7 events, and that was still similar this year. And then I get to Portland, I win Portland. I did that last year. And then I won the next event after Portland, which I did this year as well. And then I kind of went on a little bit of a dry spell through like Des Moines Preserve, the first year up event. And then I went and won the European Open, and then I went and won Worlds at the same courses during the same time frame. It was both my fourth win of the year, and then I come back over to the U.S. and win the Ledgestone the next week. Like, it's been almost identical, it feels like. So, I'm obviously hoping to continue. I can keep heating up and keep my momentum. But yeah, it's all just been, like you said, a whirlwind, pretty crazy, just never ending moving. And
That's
I might take a
nuts.
break after Decalo.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to you, but it'd probably be a good idea. I mean, last year after you won Ledgestone, yeah, then you went on to win Declo, GMC, and USDGC. So, I mean,
Yep.
if you're going to follow that pattern, sounds like a good
I
season.
just want to win MVP, man. I've been so close a couple times and haven't won.
That's true. Well,
So-
we'll be there. We'll be there rooting you on.
Yeah. Yeah, so close, except for when I caddy, you have your worst rounds of your life. We'll never do that again.
That was true.
You're a good dude, though. You're a good dude.
I will
So
say one thing.
yeah,
I don't know why. Whenever I join this specific application, whatever
yeah.
the videoninja.com,
Mhm.
my phone gets so hot and about blows up.
Really?
So I probably have like 5 to 10 more minutes until my phone cooks.
All right,
I don't
what
know
I'm
why it
gonna
does
do-
that.
Okay, what I'm gonna do? It's because we're
I'm gonna
all.
turn
Let me see here. I can do a few things.
oh gosh.
His phone's melting down.
Okay, we're gonna adjust that.
It's like it's literally a billion. It's a billion degrees right now.
Okay, everyone's gonna get worse quality. Just know it's working. That's all.
It's
Okay.
very smooth, but
Okay, everyone's gonna get a little worse quality. Your phone does actually. This is hilarious, Gannon. Your phone shows a flame on my side. It's like your phone is on
What?
fire.
Well,
dude,
It's
it
like-
is so hot.
it
My
says
phone is
the-
Don't like-
a billion degrees.
batteries can actually explode. Like,
The
let's not
flame
injure Gannon
implies
here.
CPU is overloaded. There you go. Okay, I supposedly I turned it down a little bit. We'll see if it
My
gets
phone
better.
starts to crackle out of the speakers. It's like,
It's
and then my-
smoke.
like every time I come on this podcast, I'm like,
Well, dude.
it's gonna blow up. at
That
some
being
point.
said, I will not knock other podcasts, but I'm pretty sure you're coming through more HD. I'll let the viewers gauge that. You're coming through more HD than most any other podcast. So maybe we're asking for too much. Okay. Actually,
Oh, we're good.
Actually, I want to ask this question. Then I'm going to work on your camera side a little bit. People were texting me. I saw this on social media, and people are saying we have never seen this much dominance. Now, there's probably a lot of criteria to that, like, hey, 3 weeks in a row, you go into World Games. All
I
that.
disagree. Tiger Woods was way more dominant.
In disc golf, there's a lot of conversation
okay.
to be had there, but I'm just going to say it kind of generically. I've looked back at different records. I'm curious. It's hard in your position, but you're pretty outspoken. Like, do you feel that way right now? Like, your stretch is great. But how do you feel if someone was to text you, hey, this is the most dominant thing? You're probably like, thank you. But like, how do you feel about it?
I mean, I feel good. It's definitely, I think it's like, it depends, like you said, on like, I don't know, the competition a lot of the times, like, because you can be dominant and like win as much as Macbeth did, where he almost didn't lose, or you can also be dominant and, I only have 5 wins this year. So, it's, I don't know. I guess you could be, maybe you could say I'm not as dominant, but I'm just as good. I guess I don't know. It's kind of a tough way to argue. I mean, I don't even know.
So
Obviously, it's harder to win now. We all know that, but yeah.
Yeah, and so for those that are curious, what I'm thinking of, and I'm not going to argue if it's more dominant or not, but the one that comes to mind for me is 3 majors in a row from Paul Macbeth in 2015. Now, to be fair, I do not remember the Scandinavian Open, but it was a major in Sweden, okay? So there's a major there. The next week, he wins the European Open, a major. The fly back home, so there's a week break, if you will, but the very next event, he wins the World Championship. Back-to-back, 3 majors in a row. Then he goes, more or less, waits until the USDGC, and he wins that. So 4 majors in a row. I'm just putting it out there. I think what you're doing, I want to argue that, this is my take. Whether you agree with it or not, here we go. My take is that we're watching the beginning of you becoming the GOAT. Like, I can't say it yet. That's my opinion. But when I look back, I'm going to say that was the beginning of it. Like, I'm going to be able to say this was it. I just can't say it yet. That being said, there's a lot of people who say it's way too early to have that conversation. I've asked you this, I think, earlier this year or last year. And I think you said that's going to have to be determined after more than 1 or 2 years.
Yeah. I don't think you can achieve GOAT status you have to have at least, like, I mean, unless I won every tournament for 5 years straight, but I think it takes about a decade to have GOAT status. Maybe 7 or 8 years to have GOAT status if you're, whatever. I do think, you could say I'm the best player to ever play. I think you could say that, but the GOAT status thing definitely will not, you can't say it until.
Dog, what does that even mean? The best player to ever play, but not the GOAT?
Hold on.
I mean, like the GOAT is achieved over a time period. You can be the best player to ever play, but maybe your days are short. Maybe you're only good for 3 years.
Let's just say, let's just say, literally
per year.
Like literally, if we could measure, let's say, skill of player, right? And that's what he's getting at. We could say his skill level is the highest to have ever played. But let's just say he never won all the majors. He doesn't win everything. We'd say, dang, he is literally the best, most skilled player, but we can't call him the GOAT. I'm making that as simple as possible. I'm not saying that's the scenario.
I get what he's saying. When he said best player ever,
that's what
I was like, isn't that what the GOAT is?
So that is interesting.
Most skill, I don't know. Like,
yes.
Yeah, like,
yes.
So, I mean, I do think, like, honestly, like I said, my humble opinion, like, when I'm on, I don't think I can lose unless, obviously, I think you have a couple of contenders like AB and Ricky, potentially Calvin. They also have played extremely hot rounds, but I just feel like when my game's on, I'm able to do it for multiple rounds straight, which is the key. That's the key. Same thing happened this weekend. We saw at Worlds. I played some really good rounds, but nothing insane. I shot like a 7 and an 8 under at Northwood Black, but then there was some 11 unders at Northwood Black, but they also had bad rounds. So, I mean, I think it's just staying consistent. I think that's my best trait.
The stats definitely show it. And if I pull up our little fun pop drop lock stat for you, if I look at Gannon Buhr last season, over the whole season, you were averaging 4th place, the whole season. That's it, 4th. This season, 15 events in, you're averaging 4th place. If you want to talk consistency, 2 years in a row of literally averaging 4th place. There is no other player, at least in the previous 2 years, who has even not even come close to that. You could argue that Calvin was close to that in the previous years, like with that consistency. but you're also winning. And so that was something he was so consistent without the wins. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Also, real quick, I just want to say, not to toot my own horn, but I have caddied for Gannon. Wait, I don't know how to phrase this. I've caddied more wins than losses for Gannon. So when I've been on the back, I have more wins than losses.
Wait,
yes.
are you counting
this year?
like the go throw event too?
No. Well, I wasn't thinking about that.
I didn't even count that.
But we only lost MVP and Cascade. That was it.
Is that actually it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Everything else I've won on the bag.
Ben's keeping stats.
Yep, goaded. That's the conversation.
I
forgot about the go throw.
That's
Let's
funny.
go.
Except for Ben on hole 5 final rounds.
No.
Says, I'm up 5 strokes, and he goes, "Bro, you would have to die to lose."
Was hole 5 when you like messed up?
Right before it.
You would have to die to lose.
What happened?
Okay, I was trying to
what
hype
actually
him up.
happened.
I'm back. And then I immediately double bogey. What happened to my internet, bro?
You look fine to us.
You're good. You're still here.
Oh, now he's swiped out of it.
Choppy.
Now he swiped
Here's
out
the thing.
of it. His phone's
Here's the thing that Gannon also
down.
doesn't say. He's a goofball. The whole time he's like, Fortnite, sussy, ooh, ah. So then I'm just joking around with him like, bro, you have to die to lose. And he thinks, he's like, oh. No, he didn't really think about it. But after the round, we had a good laugh.
I mean, it was more just like funny timing than it was anything. Because we're always like, and then after hole 2, he's like, dude, like I debated telling you this, but you have to birdie out.
Yeah, so we have a good time. You know, does it help you? I feel like it helps you just kind of not really think about.
Like, I don't know. I don't even know how to like phrase it. Like it's like playing like I don't care. I don't know.
So playing like you don't care. Hold on.
We just goof around.
Playing like you don't care. No joke. Gannon is Ben is nice. I don't know if you know this and you might fire him after this, but like he will answer my questions mid-round when I text him. And one of the things that stood out was immediately how fast you were throwing your shots. And I'm like, I immediately texted Ben and I said, I'll have to go back and read it. I was like, what in the world is going on? Like he's throwing so fast. The commentators are talking
I showed
about
Gannon
it.
what you said.
Yeah. And he's like, well, and I'm not going to throw him under the bus for what he says, but more or less he's like, it's happening. And I'm like, all right. So now I'm just like kicked back with my popcorn on the couch, just watching. Like DGN can't keep up with the shots. Like we catch your back, like literally your back, and like what he just threw. It was all crazy.
My favorite part is like Calvin would throw, and then it like he'd throw, and then he'd be walking off the tee pad, and the camera would pan to his face, and then all you hear is, and you can't even see the disc.
So. You sped up your routine and I'm going to set this up so you don't have to do it at the press conference at the end or the post-round interview. You're like, hey, I'm making more or less, it sounded like you said, a statement of like, I won't stand for it. The sense of, I'm going to paraphrase, feeling targeted when others are taking longer. There's nothing wrong with you playing faster. So you performed well. I was kind of crossing my fingers with that. You performed well. Just like, do you want to wrap that all up for us? Like what happened, how that went down? Like we kind of know.
Yeah. Like, we can get a little juicy maybe.
Okay.
So round 2. So like just to kind of set it up, I was playing Northwood blind. I didn't get a practice round in there. And a couple of those holes are blind holes. I mean, a lot of the holes are blind holes. But whatever. Hole 18, round 2, I'm throwing my second shot. And I'm like in the middle of the fairway at the bottom of the hill. And you can't see the basket unless you go to the top of the hill. So I run to the top, run back down, throw my shot. I think it was around a minute or a minute and 10 seconds if you include the running up and running back down. I get a time warning, and I just thought that was kind of crappy, like to get a time warning on hole 18, like the round's over, dude. But, technically it was valid. But then the guy says, I've been taking long all day, and I need to play faster tomorrow. And I can't run up and do that stuff because it counts towards your time. You can, but it's just going to hurt your chances at getting your shot off in time. And so I was like, well, it doesn't matter if I was playing slow the whole day. It's just a per shot thing. Like it's not a cumulative, oh, you were slow today. No, it's not what the rule says. And we kind of had an argument in the parking lot afterward. And then day 3 comes by, and he announces to the card before the round that same marshal, he's going to be watching for excessive time, and you know, he's like, that includes if you range find or if you run up to the top and
Interesting.
look, and so he's like, this all counts towards your time, or if you switch discs or shot selection, or go back to your bag, which I've been told that from other marshals as well. Like, you can't run up, you can't go back to your bag. Sorry, like, you can, but it counts towards your time. So if you do that, you're basically screwed. All right, well, whatever. I agree with the marshal. Like, I'm gonna try to play faster tomorrow. So I did, and I birdied hole 1, 2, play hole 3 pretty good. So I'm obviously not taking long because I'm not in tricky spots. Like, I don't think I'd ever take that long if I'm in a controlled environment anyway. And then we get to hole 4, and I throw a forehand kind of on the right side of the fairway, and I'm like kind of pinched on the rough a little bit. And I have a standstill forehand, but I was also deciding between a backhand turnover. And after I decided I wasn't going to throw the backhand turnover, it'd probably been like 10 to 15 seconds. And so I go with the forehand, and mind you, it's so hot. It's so sweaty outside. And I just cannot get a grip on my disc. And so I'm just panicking because I know I'm pushing the time limit. And kind of part of our argument was like, dude, I don't care that you called me. It's completely valid, but everybody needs to be called. And it's also like, you can't give leeway because that's not in the rule. The rule is you have 30 seconds. It doesn't matter if you're in the rough. It doesn't matter if you're in the wide open. You have 30 seconds from once you've addressed your lie.
The
Which is
rule for
obviously
this year. Next year it'll change.
this year. Yes. So I throw, and he says I had 42 seconds on that shot, and I got a time warning. And I wasn't mad because I had talked about this. I was like, I'm just glad you called me, but let's keep it fair for everybody else. The very next shot, player on my card takes 40. You know, I'm just gonna say it because it was Paul McBeth, and when I'm talking about all this, I have nothing against Paul McBeth. Nothing. He
You
can do
just
whatever
want
he
GOAT
wants.
status. That's all.
It's I just want the GOAT
Bro,
status, Paul.
talking on the go is
No,
crazy.
no. So yeah, nothing against Paul. He's free to do whatever he wants. It's all about the marshal for me here. Paul takes like 45 seconds if you include the statement that the marshal made before the round about, you know, the time you have to do all this stuff, whatever. Paul takes like, yeah, 40 seconds because he lines up a short tomahawk, and then he's like, no, I'll go forehand from a knee, and then he doesn't get called. I'm like, whatever, it's fine. There will be another time that a player will go over 30 seconds during this round. And so my goal now was like, I'm just gonna troll the cameraman because, like, why not? If I get called for time, I'm just gonna throw as fast as I can. And so I just start speed running. Like, hole 6, Calvin like barely gets a foot off the tee, and now my disc is already in the air. And it's just completely in the rules. So I'm like, yeah, if I'm gonna get called for time immediately, I'm just gonna play fast then. And I started playing pretty good. I banged like a circle 2 putt, made a nice 30-footer for birdie, then made a circle 2 putt for par on the next hole, threw a sick roller on hole 10, all playing like extremely fast.
And mind you, I'm like trying to talk him out of this.
Yeah,
but
my
then
mom's texting me.
He keeps birdieing. So then at one point, I'm like, all right, I guess keep doing it. I mean, it's working.
I told him I'm not going to stop until I bogey. But we got to hole 12 and 13. Obviously, the course finish is tough, so I took a little more time. Obviously, was still playing quick to whatever you could say my standards. But then here's where the problems start kind of happening. We get to hole 13, and you know, Macbeth is kind of short. It's a kind of like a squiggly par 4, and there's a pond before the basket, and Macbeth is like short of the corner, and he walks up to the corner, walks all the way back, then lines up a shot, throws a forehand. It took about 50 seconds, 55 seconds total, if you include the walking up time, which is the same thing I did on hole 18 the previous day and got called. Macbeth does not get called for that time warning. And at this point, I'm like, well, that was obvious. He should have been called, in my opinion. And I have video evidence of it, so it's not like it's, you know, I'm lying here. And obviously, it's just because it's like what I was told before the round would get you a time warning, and he didn't get called there, and I already got called immediately. Like I wasn't given obviously any leeway because I got called on hole 4 after I just birdied. Like, it's not like I was taking long before, so it's not like it had built up. So technically, the marshal was doing his job calling it right away, but then he didn't call for Macbeth twice. Here's the big problem. We get to hole 18. It's Macbeth again. and he's in a pretty similar spot to where I was in round 2 when I got called, and a little bit further left, but he's not in the rough. And he goes his bag, walks all the way up to the top of the hill, exactly what I did in round 2 to get called, walks all the way back down the hill, and takes his time, about 30 seconds to throw the shot. If you include all of that, it was about 1 minute and 10 seconds total, which was about the exact same time I took, the exact same scenario I took, and it was told we cannot do that. And it was, the second or third time he's gone over the time this round, and he doesn't get called. And I'm like, how is this even possible? How is this happening right now? So I don't know. I was infuriated. I was like, this is not okay. It's kind of clear I'm being targeted. I have video evidence of it, especially with the words that we were told before the round would get you a time warning. It's exactly how I got my time warning in the exact same scenario, and Macbeth didn't get one. Like I said, nothing against Macbeth. No, I have no hard feelings against Macbeth. I love playing with him and respect him as a player. It's just the marshal was not being fair and equal, is how I was being treated. It felt like, and
After you
it
said
was
what you
too
said,
obvious.
yeah, after you said what you said post-round interview, did anybody come and talk to you then or the next day or at any point from like official status?
No, nobody. No, but what did happen is we had a different marshal for the final day. We had the same marshal the first 3 days on my card because I was on the last card every day, and then we had a different marshal the final day, which I thought was a little bit odd because that, I mean, like, why would you switch it up for the last day, And yeah, so the other part that was kind of weird to me was like, I'm not gonna talk about anything about really what was said in the argument just because it's a little more personal, but when he announced the card before the round all these things about what could get you a time warning, it's just weird that that has to be announced because that's the marshal's job anyway. And it's not his only job. He's also supposed to call foot faults. He's supposed to call courtesy warnings. He's supposed to start the timer for a lost disc. There's so many other things that the marshal's supposed to do. So what's the point of announcing it if it's already obvious? So I was definitely going to say something the final round if that happened again to kind of just, I don't know, just make a point, I guess. But it's just something I don't feel like the players should have to be dealing with during our rounds. We're trying, obviously I won the tournament, but I think I could have played better if I didn't have to worry about it. Not the fact that I got called, but just the fact that I had to worry about it, how unfair it felt.
Yeah.
Do you think do any of the rule adjustments next year help any of this? I mean, what's weird about it? Okay, so your opinion is yes. All right.
Yeah, I think the time extensions makes it easier to say, hey, that was one of your time extensions, or as a player, you can announce the time extension, and yeah, then you can take your time on a shot you might need a little more time on. So,
because I guess also, oh yeah, go ahead.
Also, the last thing, just clear it up. Like I said, nothing against any other player, and I also agree I should be called. Those are the two things I want to make very clear here. I'm not saying I shouldn't be called. I just mean saying other players need to be called.
Could you have called Macbeth on those violations that you observed?
I could have, but I couldn't have because I haven't been called by a player in 4 years, but I've been given 25, 30 time warnings in those 4 years probably, maybe more. I've never been stroked for it, but it's a very like devil's advocate type of thing to say. Is like, oh well, you can call it too, Gannon. I really can't. Simon Lazat says he wouldn't call anyone. No, like nobody's calling anybody. Like, you know how bad of a look that would be? I'm leading the tournament and then I call a player on a time warning and I'm a slow player notoriously. Like, I actually can't do that.
Hold on. Did Ricky call you in the finale last year?
That one was a weird one. That one.
I'm just thinking out loud.
You give like a half and half. I
Okay.
think that was like he said I took a minute, bro, and then the marshal I think either I don't know, like seconded it or made it official. So I don't know if that was like an official time call because I feel like you have to actually announce like, hey, that was a time warning. Ricky never said that.
It just came to my mind, and I was.
He definitely made a point to it. I mean, that's a good point.
But I was just thinking I was thinking in favor of your point of like no player wants to alter the course of the event coming down the stretch because hey, I'm going to stand up now and say this when the whole round it's been happening. That's a tough scenario.
Yeah, and it's like why was I called an 18 because we always think that's a little bit ridiculous to be called on the 18th hole because the round's over. But then the other player wasn't called. And the amount of missed foot fault calls that I've seen is ridiculous, because if the marshal's only focused on time, then obviously the marshal's going to miss all these foot fault calls. It's like there's more foot fault calls, I feel like, than there are time violations. And I feel like, yeah, if the marshals are just trained to obviously keep the track of the time, but when the player throws, be studying their feet. Simple as that. It's a very quick training, but once you have that down, you're going to have a lot more fair calls made.
I know your phone's burning up and you're probably out of battery. So maybe just in short, do you think the way that it played out for hole 16 and Isaac, you're aware of that scenario? Do you think it played out ultimately the best way it could have?
Yeah, I think they played the rule correctly, because based off the information that Isaac was given, because he was not told he missed the Mando, and there actually was no Mando painted line, which that was kind of a big red flag. That makes no sense why there would not be a line painted, at least pointing the direction of the Mando. So, because I believe the rule is if a spotter gives you an incorrect call, it's an automatic provisional. So that throw is his provisional that he threw from the OB.
What? I've never heard that rule. That's an unofficial official.
Like, yeah, I mean, yeah. So it's like there are times where the person who makes the spotter makes the call isn't official, but that wasn't one of them.
Interesting rule. I didn't know that. I don't know where that comes from.
So without even knowing it, your throw is a provisional because you were given an incorrect call. If you go up later and then, oh crap, because he was past the Mando, so technically it would have been either like a practice throw or a misplay. But based off the information he was given, he did what he was supposed to do, and you shouldn't get penalized for that. So I think how it went down was obviously really confusing, but he played like it was resolved the correct way.
And then last question, and it might have to do with Isaac a little bit. In one of your press conferences or your round interviews, you were trying to recall players who had shot really well on that day, like double-digit rounds or something.
Yeah.
And you're like, I can't remember the other one. Was that a vlog moment, or was that on purpose or not?
No, that was an honest
really
mistake. Yeah.
I thought you were put up for that one.
No.
Well, it came off that way to me, at least. It's pretty funny. We're like, ha ha ha. But cool. Anything before we let you go? Josh, Ben, was there any last thing?
No, congrats. I mean, like, I don't think we're going to talk about it much now, but hopefully the World Games was obviously not the thing we talk about as much. It's super rare, but hopefully it was a really cool experience. Do you just have like 30 seconds on that? Like, was it unique, and was it pretty cool to have a gold medal?
Yeah, I mean, it was the event itself was, I mean, it was a very good disc golf event, but the event as a whole, the World Games, was crazy.
Yeah.
The opening ceremony was just massive. So many people there and so much money put into this event. I mean, hundreds of buses with a full World Games wrap on them. The second we got off the plane at the airport in Chengdu, we were basically escorted to the shuttle buses that would take us directly to where we were staying. We got fed 3 meals a day. I mean, and everywhere you have to go, you have to do like airport security, where you scan in and then you put your bag through security to get into the hotel, out of the hotel. And it was just a very professional event. So it definitely felt like the Olympics.
That's cool.
And I believe it's not always like that, but China did a great job with it.
Right. Yeah, that's what I've heard. So
It was special. I mean, you know, I would do the event again. I don't know if I go to China again. Just it's so far away and it's just very different from here. But I'm very glad I did it. It's cool to say I've been in Asia, been in China to experience all that. I saw a panda, so that was pretty cool. And that's it. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. I'm glad you got that experience. Pretty cool. Thanks for joining us.
Gannon, at my new property, the one that I made you sleep on the couch before you left, this new place, I have set up a course on my property that's super fun, but so you'll probably like to play it before or after your rounds, probably, because I know how much you play disc golf. It's wild. You'll like finish a round and be like, I got to play more. But I just threw what I'm calling an ace to shoot 7 down on 6 holes today. And it was 175 foot. Is that an ace in my backyard? It was an official round. Like the attempt was to shoot a course record, and I threw an ace, 175 feet. Is that an ace?
I don't think it would count towards your ace count, but for the round, it's a legit ace.
Okay.
Like,
That's-
I mean, I don't know.
It's an official round.
It's an asterisk. It's an asterisk.
It's an asterisk. Okay.
It just depends, like, because I've always been asked that. I think if the hole is under 130 feet, it can never count as an
Okay.
ace.
It's more than
I
that.
think that's
Okay.
like, I feel like, I don't know. If I can jump putt it, I don't know.
No,
It
you
just-
can't jump putt it. We're gonna let you try it when you get here, and if you don't ace it
But
after 10
all-
throws, then I'll just make a T-shirt that says
Also, the difficulty, the difficulty of the hole also matters.
It's
Like, it could be a
difficult.
super insanely tight wooded shot or a crazy corner that can make the ace more legit. But
all right.
at some point, if it's like 100 feet, then it's like, eh.
I'll ask you when you
100%.
show up. And I'll put a
135 is
bounty.
legit. It's
Hold on.
legit.
I'll put
Okay.
a bounty. If you can shoot better than 7 down on this course while you're here, I'm gonna come up with some prize that you'll actually want.
You owe me dinner.
Okay.
Texas
Something
Roadhouse.
like that. But dude, I don't know. Now I want to see if you can do it. 7 down on 6 holes. All right, here we go. Thanks for coming on, dude. Hopefully your
Yeah,
phone
thank
is
you.
not melted and dripping in your hand, but we'll talk to you another time. Peace out, dude.
See ya.
Later.
I don't know what the bounty should actually be. He said dinner. He could, if he plays it enough times, he's gonna ace a hole, of course. But it's
I would literally just play hole 1 over and over until I ace, and then
play out
around.
the rest and then bogey a hole. Oops.
That's
So
what I would do.
nothing like talking to the best in our sport, huh? I mean, obviously, Ben, you're close friends with him. Matt, you too. I certainly know him. So there's some casualness, which is awesome. But really, like, it's like we talked to the player who's on an epic run. I think our question implied we don't think it's like the best like run ever yet. But I mean, really, like even Discmania is posting, they're like 3 wins on 3 continents, and it's like world champ, world games, Ledgestone, 5th win on the season, chance to make a run at a few more this year. It's just like, really, it's truly incredible. We used to call him like a kid, and he's still young, but he's not. Like he is like on top of the game.
E20.
Is dominating, right? But it's like he's dominating. He talked about starting slow, and I think that's true compared to his standards. But right now, like he said, he knows that he is able to put together a consistent stream of the best rounds from any player out there. So if he does it, he knows he can win. I forget how he worded it. He's like, I know I can win any tournament I want to win, he said on our show tonight. It's like, okay,
Well, yeah, it's crazy. He
pretty
played
ridiculous.
Northwood without any practice rounds. That's how good he is.
Yeah. And on the
Like,
post-round interview, you were there, Ben, so you were actually part of this. I think we actually caught some of it. He's like, he was with such close friends and people he was comfortable with in that final round that he almost like took it like too light for the first like portion, and then he kind of had to like focus in a bit. But even that just shows like the skill is there. So when he wants to do it, he just levels up and just like, it's almost like he has the button for flow state.
So
It's like, okay, I got to go lock this one in. Boom. And then it's just like birdie, 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 and a mistake is a par. And it's just like, wow.
it looks easy. And at this current point in time, I think it's without question, I actually do, that he is the most skilled player. There are people who have a lot of abilities who, if they can refine them, could become that. So I'm not saying it can't happen with anybody else. The only other players that come to mind on that right now would be like AB, but his consistency is just not the same.
That's the consistency. That's
So,
different. Right. It doesn't
Because
seem like AB has that. I'm being facetious.
AB can
but
do
has that
every
button.
shot that Gannon can do.
Yeah.
Like without question. Maybe not as, but the question is as well, meaning the consistency, meaning can you do it as much? Can you do it as often? Then that's where the change starts to happen. So
Yeah, and then round after round after round. Like Gannon goes out and win worlds without throwing the hot round.
mm-hmm.
So
So
we know he can throw the hot round, right? It's just he didn't, and he still won because it's just so consistent with such a high level that the margin is tight. And anyone else who wavers is just going to lose strokes on him. I think we saw that. What round is it? When Paul Macbeth was within like 2 strokes, I think. So now I'm forgetting. I need to go look. Round 2 maybe. Don't think it was round 3. But it's just like even Gannon is kind of making a mistake here and there, but then. Like, and I'm picking on Paul specifically, but he makes a mistake and you just know, you feel it. You're like, there's no way you're gaining. Now you're 4 strokes behind. Like, it's gone. It's done because Gannon's so consistent. It's just like, all right, that's it. And so in many ways, the final round, I don't think it was truly boring, but because it kind of cinched up a little bit, but really going into it, I'm like, there's just no way that Gannon's going to lose. I mean, there is a way, but like, you just don't believe it because it's like.
I usually sit down and watch these rounds a lot closer. And then when I saw, because I was playing around with my boys at a course, and I looked and saw through 4 holes, Gannon has like a 6-stroke lead or something. And I told my boys, I said, well, it's over. Like, that's where he's at now. So to his point, I think we can.
That's why I said what I said. I was joking, but I was like,
and that was after 4 holes.
To lose. Yeah.
And so I think to be fair to his point, like, that's what he's saying. I think it can be argued that he is the best player, but he can't have that status yet. Now, here's one last take on this, because people are still saying, like, we won't see this again. I don't know. Have we ever seen it before? Or if people are trying to say this is the best, then I have a little issue with it. I'm not offended. But I will go back and bend. The arguability, to Gannon's point, was it harder or easier back then versus now? All that stuff. But if I just say, just to start this conversation out, let's just say apples to apples. Let's just say majors, elites kind of thing. Paul McBeth in a 12-month period, Ben, won 7 majors. Like, if we said Gannon did that, we'd be like, everyone would be blowing up right now. Greatest of all time. Like, he just won the last 7 majors in, over a 12-month period. We'd be like, it's not even a question. Paul did that. And I already gave you that one stretch, and I didn't even add on there. Go 1 month out from that. I said 3 majors in a row. And then he won the next major after that. It was obviously after a little bit of break because there's no major that close, but USDGC. So he won 4 majors in a row. And at the beginning of the season, let's add to that, because I'm going to go back to the front side. The 5th major, he won the Aussie Open. So he won 5 majors, Ben, in 1 year. And 3 or 4 of those were in like a very short period of time. Not arguing, was it harder or easier back then? That's a level of dominance that I think is comparable as far as wins go to what Gannon is doing now. That being said, I think Gannon is on his way, and I told Gannon this to himself right here on the show. I think we're going to look back at this period and say that was the beginning of the greatest of all time. Like, I'm not saying it's not part of it, but we can't say that and have that conversation yet.
Yeah.
So
what do we think? Well, I have an opinion, obviously, but we can talk about the specifics of Gannon making a point around all the time, the speed of play and kind of how we're laughing at how fast he's playing and his approach. But I guess he's clearly trying to make a point. That's what I took from that. We can talk about how he's making the point, but he's trying to make a point. I
think I was obviously there. He was just, his point, or what he was just trying to accomplish is he was just very frustrated. So he was just like, you know what, like, I don't even care if the cameras are set up. Like, I'm just gonna play fast and prove to people that, like, I don't need this routine. I can just play fast. So like, that was his whole thing. Like, he didn't care. He didn't wait. He just went. It was mostly just because he's frustrated. I mean,
that was kind of an in the moment thing. But even on our show tonight, he's clearly sharing his whole perspective. So as a number one player, he's making a point. Right?
Open about it, yeah.
Right. Which by the way, like, you love that. Like, when your top players in any sport are like, I love it.
Reminiscent, Josh. Reminiscent or don't, to the GOAT, Paul McBeth.
Yeah, well, he used to come.
We used to get him on podcasts, and it was always, there was no hesitation to say what needed to be said, according to his perspective. It was awesome.
Yeah, and so like, we may have our own nuanced perspectives on, like, hey, if it were me, would I do it different, or would I advise different, or how should we approach it? Like, we can have fun debating that. But the best in your sport in MPO, in his own creative way, is calling out the PDGA and targeting / inconsistency. It's interesting to hear that he thinks the rules next year will alleviate. I'm kind of split on that a little bit. I definitely agree with his point about, like, it's a little easier to call an extension or to use an extension. I think that's true. But isn't the root issue still there? The root issue. Like, so like, if you have a marshal who's inconsistently observing and calling players, like, that doesn't change with the rules next year. Like if you literally repeat and put the same marshal on the cards in the same scenario, sure, the difference is now you use an extension, but like you're still, in Gannon's eyes, you're still targeting and inconsistent. That's interesting.
Here was my perspective, even because I was there, from the marshal. One of the things he told Gannon was, that, he's lenient, where if someone's in the woods, he's going to give them a little more extra time, or stuff like that, where I don't, like, he didn't say this, but maybe like the first time they break 30 seconds, okay, now I'm going to keep an eye on it. That was one of the things he said. He's lenient. Gannon's whole point is like, you can't, with the current rules, you can't be lenient. It has to be 30 seconds. So that's why when Gannon in the next round got called for 42 seconds, which wouldn't have probably happened the round before, he was okay with it and happy, because he's okay. Like the marshal is now going to call anyone over 30 seconds, and then that didn't happen. So that's his whole frustration. But like I said, I also understand the marshal and like where he's coming from and his side to a degree, and I know how hard it is to be in that position. Like, it's like one of the worst jobs ever to be in that position. So I do understand where he's like, he's saying he's being lenient, but that's not the rules yet. It's not
so
the rules
weird.
yet.
It's so weird though. Here's the thing. First of all, because of how hard it has been, I do not want to be a marshal on a lead card for a pro tour. So I'm saying I don't want to do it. But let me also say,
bad.
I have confidence that so I don't want to, so I'm avoiding it. If I were in that situation though, academically, it is not hard. Now, on this show, I've talked about before how I think there's some discretion. We talked about the Kristen play, like, et cetera. So I get that, but I'm actually going to be like, it's impossible to like play that nuanced game because our sport doesn't seem to allow it right quite yet. So if that's the case, like if he called Gannon on 42 seconds, it would have been really easy to call Paul on 1 minute and 1 second. Like,
well, Gannon was happy about the 42 seconds.
That's what I'm saying. Just stick to it.
He thought, because the day before, that was Gannon's whole thing, is because the marshal said lenient,
and they're missing
it has to be over 30 seconds.
I don't know.
And then the next day he gets called 42, and he's like, okay, he listened to me, whatever. But then, yeah. So that was the biggest thing. He just feels like he's getting targeted, and the foot fault thing. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. Being a marshal's hard.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's why I'm saying I don't want to do it, because I think it is hard at the same time. It's like, just do it. Matt, you kind of asked Gannon this, at least kind of, and I'm broadening the question. Is like, I hope we have a fine relationship with the PDGA on this show, but I'm going to say, if any of them are listening, like, I hope you're listening to the number one player in the sport. And by listening, I hope you're responding. They all know how to get a hold of him.
Well,
like, can Doug call Gannon Buhr?
It's not a PDGA employee, so I don't know if that matters. It's a TGPT employee.
Well, the Disc Golf Pro Tour
the PDGA
or the PDGA, yeah. The PDGA is the gogoverning body. I'm going to use the word should. They have the rules, yeah. I'm going to use the word should. The guy
had the authority.
You would think that they would reach out and be like, we hear your voice. We have our opinions on this, whatever it is, but like, let him know.
We agree or disagree. Yeah. Let's talk about it. We understand you have a lot of influence. Like, let's continue to talk about it. And because if they literally understand each other's argument and disagree, that's actually okay. But then put it all above board, right? So Gannon knows like where we stand, and just he can, because Gannon seems to be okay with, if the rules are clear, I'm going to live with them. I've never seen him push back on that. It's
that's
more like
that's why I keep saying he was happy about the 42 seconds.
So that's what I'm saying. The PDGA and team just need. This is what I'm saying.
Please don't be lenient, and that's
so he's not being unreasonable, right? The only thing is just like, I could see a time and a place where there may be a different way to tackle this. If you're Gannon, that might be the only like angle I would take. But the issue is an issue. He's like, hopefully somebody in leadership between Pro Tour and PDGA, they've got a lot of things on their plate. But we're talking about the number one player in the world. That's why I'm saying, like, pay attention. It's like you have lots of player voices constantly in your ear. You can't make them all happy. And by the way, you shouldn't just try to make Gannon happy, but you should try to hear legitimate.
Well, here's the thing. I think they are trying to make it better with the new rules. I just think the marshal was, in my opinion, like the marshal was implementing. I think the marshal knows the 30-second rule is a bad rule, and I think he was implementing next year's ruling, like even subconsciously, or like even the past few years where it was over, like no one was getting called in 30 seconds, and like it was just like if it was over the top, like because that's what he said, like Gannon, you abused the time or whatever over the round. That's why I called you on 18. It was because Gannon did multiple times. So he was even lenient with Gannon. But then Gannon's point is, you don't be lenient. Call me first time.
What I find interesting, and I remember when Gannon was saying it, I'm like, you've come a long way, Matt. You're not going to cut him off here. Let him keep talking. But in my head, I was like, or I might have even went, he recited the next year's rule to Gannon pre-tournament. It sounded like, guys, this includes range finding. This includes. No, it doesn't. The rules don't say that right now. The rules don't say your time starts.
The rules say when you address your lie.
It's such a bad rule, though.
No, but my point is, he's reciting what next year's rule is now, saying that he's adopted that.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
And if that's what he told Gannon, I was like, that doesn't show up in the rules. I guess you could interpret it that way. That's how you as a marshal are going to use it. As a marshal, you're going to say that. But like, interesting.
Like, what does address your lie mean? I think.
Well, I think the marshal was trying to say what he deems. But Matt, you're right. It's just all it's all messy. So yeah. So like, I don't know. Let's hope we just keep trying to improve it. There, it's okay that there's always some debate in your sport about rules interpretation. It's like, I'm all right with some variation. At the same time, it's like, it sounds like, I mean, that's kind of like, that's a frustrating issue. And I don't want to like have something bigger come of it, because it's bound to happen. This thing is going to well up. If it's not like effectively addressed with mature people, like something's going to happen. Right? Like,
yeah, Gannon, this is like the fourth public time Gannon's mentioned.
That's what I'm saying.
Do you remember?
Somebody's going to bubble up. Someone's going to react. The
Paul
PDGA,
Macbeth
something's going to happen.
Paul Macbeth, and I'm probably over exaggerating a little bit, but protesting the PDGA.
Well, he's done it. He's done it. Yeah, he's done it a few times, but including. Oh yeah.
So go back way back, the beginning days of the Disc Golf Pro Tour, but meaning like that timeline and Nico's discipline. I think it was Nico.
Bradley Williams. And so Paul wasn't going to play events.
Like literally, like, I'm not going to play the event. Now, again, I say protest a little lightly because I don't think it was super public. I'm not playing because XYZ, but I think it was on record somewhere like that.
It definitely was. Yeah, it definitely was. And do you
so
not think the PDGA talked to him?
This can happen.
They talk. I'm sure that we need to ask Paul. I'm sure the PDGA at some point, officially or unofficially, talked to him about that.
Right.
And he also boycotted. I'm not going to play the Champions Cup because you have a stupid format. And guess what happens?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
They changed the
That
format.
one was a little different.
I know.
Why does disc golf have like 3 random things a year that never?
Matt, it's a totally different scenario. My point is like, you have top players who actually it's acceptable for them to use their leverage to influence the sport. Like, that's okay. And what I'm saying is, like, those who are trying to be influenced should be okay with that. Like, that's not a negative thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, you're going to like say that you think it should be managed differently, therefore we're not going to we're going to push back. And I'm saying, no. Like, you should literally be like, oh yeah, that's a good point. Let's see where we can adjust. And by the way, the people I know, I don't know everybody. The people I know at the PDGA personally, like the ones that I know, I think are mature enough to like work through that. So I'm just saying, I hope that's what happens. Like, work through it. I don't want to make it be out to more than it is. My whole point is I want to avoid it becoming more than it is. Like what happened at this tournament, it's kind of it's an important thing, but it's secondary. It didn't even impact the final outcome, et cetera, et cetera. But I just don't want these things to become an issue, even though it's fun for us to talk about.
All right, moving on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm ready to move on too. So were you moving us somewhere specific?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Hooligan Discs.
Oh yeah.
Presents.
I'm happy this week. Yes.
Pop, draw, block. This is celebratory.
One time out of yeah.
You made good picks, and it's harder to do. It stands out more at this point in the season. Let's just get into the quick review. We'll start with Ben. Your points are Ben, 38 points.
It's not terrible.
It's not terrible. I'm telling you, it's not terrible.
It is so much harder, especially in FPO.
It's so hard. You're like, dude, which week is it going to be?
You got 30 points in FPO also, so I mean, you were good.
Yeah,
I know. I was crushing it the first round, and then shout out Joel Freeman for.
Ooh, hold on. We're going to talk about that in just a second. You're saying you did?
He picked him and he got negative points from it.
Oh, I didn't know.
Because Joel played better.
I've picked him twice the drop.
And he's playing
he hasn't been
better.
on tour,
right.
and he goes off.
I was gonna say earlier, I'm impressed with his performance as well. He's that player, but his consistency, meaning not playing, I didn't know would be there either. But Ben, 38 points. To your point, FPO right now seems to be the hardest because now you don't have any easy picks, and you're like, which player is it going to be? You have to just make like a little intuition there, I guess. All right, Nick, I think was next with 49 points. I come in second out of our group with 53 points. I think it was FPO for me as well. Or no, I had that.
You were up and
pick.
down.
I had that outlier pick. I felt like when everyone was probably like, why did I do that? Zach Arlinghouse. Although I had others pick him, they probably thought it was a good pick, but Zach Arlinghouse got me some points there.
And Holly Finley.
Right. So my pop picks were good. All right, Josh, then you with 70.
Basically, Gannon Buhr won, and I picked him to win. And Holland Hanley dropped, and I picked her to drop.
You picked all good picks, man.
Yeah, I mean, they were mediocre after that, but those two gave me big points. And like Holland Hanley, I mean, we may come back a little bit more just to talk about a few more things from Ledgestone, but like, I mean, I picked her to drop because the margin to like lose points is so low because she averages high. But I picked her the right week because that's a terrible performance by somebody who's literally like almost always top 5. So I'll say lucky me, poor Holland. It makes me curious to be like, what's going on there, but could just be one event.
14th out of 14th for the week. 14th place for the week.
Probably my best play, and I'm nowhere near it in the season. Where are you at in the season leaderboard, Matt?
Hold on one second. In the event, I'm just looking at 11th place. This is super funny. I had to look it up. His username is Trustworthy Dugong. I'm like, what is a dugong? It's like a manatee or something. Okay. In the season standings, guys, I obviously talking about myself sounds like what it sounds like, but I'm now only 32 points away from first. I'm closing the gap.
Courageous Harry's coming for you.
I honestly don't know how this is happening. I mean, I'm trying hard, but so is everybody else. I see it. Trustworthy Narwhal. That's Mike from out in California. I still don't know who Courageous Hare is. As we get closer here, I think they're starting to we need to just tighten down a little bit on what's going to happen. You'll play around with Simon sometime in November before Thanksgiving. Unless there's a possibility Simon could work something else out if it didn't work for the winter. But really, I don't think we're going to give a lot of leeway there because we can't do that to Simon. So if we hit first place or this person is first place, we contact them. We're going to give you 10 days to respond, a week to respond. It's not going to be long. We'll tell you what that is. So be ready. That's all I'm trying to say. Be ready. If you're that guy and you're in the last weeks coming into the final stretch here, be looking at emails, contact us, whatever it is. If it doesn't work out for the first place finisher, I think we're going to be okay with deferring to second place and third place if it keeps going down that road. I think that's probably how we'll handle it. In this case, it's me. So at this point, we've got the backup. Just kidding. I would not do that. Simon hit me up today, and it's not often he does. I don't think he'll mind that I'm saying this, but he sent me a picture of his ace disc from European Disc Golf Festival. And I'm like, cool. He's like, And it was like, there was like pictures like scattered on it too, like actual printed like 4x6 pictures. And I'm like, he's like, can you 3D print me something?
Ooh.
And I'm like, yeah, like, do you have a file? He's like, no. I'm like, what do you need designed? And he's like, I needed a way to display this disc. I'm retiring it. And again, maybe I'm giving away too much here. So keep this between our show.
He's probably seen some of your display stuff before.
Yeah, I've showed him something that I've been working on. Now people are going to wonder, and it's a product that I need to patent and all that stuff. But like,
top secret.
He comes to me, hey, can you make one for me? And I also want it to be able to display the pictures, So like, I'm working on something that's going to be the pictures and the disc, and it's a major ace. So that's cool. All right, we need to put our picks up. We're in Pop Drop Lock. We're just going on here. Let's start at the top here. Nick said he would get his picks in, but whatever they are here, probably we're gonna go
for Idlewild.
Andrew Fish, good pick for Pop. Brody Smith, drop. That one's a little interesting. Brody's average right now. What is it? I don't think it's very good. It is.
Don't know.
I'm going to tell you 69. So Nick is saying Brody's going to drop on 69 at Idlewild. I think he might pop.
With only 99 players.
Yeah. And Idlewild, frankly, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. You're going to play it. Hopefully, somehow, some way, Ben, you get a practice round. That is the course. Like, not that it's the best course on tour, but it's the course for AMs like us. It is. It's amazing. All right. And then Gannon Buhr for lock.
They shoot like 14 down.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You should be able to shoot 6 to 10 down, I feel like, Ben. Like, it feels like very doable.
I ran that whole course once. Twice,
not playing?
Actually. No, I literally just went there and ran around the park. Like, just running. Because, I'm a runner.
Not even during a tournament. Just like
nothing. No one else was there. I just ran around the course. A couple miles.
All right. So he's got Gannon locking.
True story.
Holly Finley popping.
How long ago?
A couple years ago. 2 years maybe.
Jessica Weiss drop. This is tough. It is tough, FPO. I mean, I looked at Jessica Weiss. I looked at a few others. It's tough to know. Valerie Mandahano, back to back. I always think like in betting, like, is it a bigger bet to say back to back on a lock? I know she's won it. I know she's played well here, but like,
unless you're Gannon.
But he's picking a lock. He's not picking a win. It's picking a lock. All right. My picks. Yes. Here we go. Yeah, there's
Ben. I ran around Idlewild, 4 miles around Idlewild.
Funny. That's funny.
I picked James Conrad to drop.
It's a pop, you mean?
Hold on.
Put him in pop.
Ledgestone Open. I have the wrong ones pulled up on my side, but James Conrad to pop. Sorry.
Okay, there we go.
Silas Schultz to drop. Dude is incredible average this season though, and then he shows up at Ledgestone like
he just finished 7th.
Yeah,
man, he throws hard, huh?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I like obvious statement. A lot of pros do, but he just like pipes it like.
Yeah, he has good snap. That's why it sounds harder than.
I have great snap, Ben, but it's because I don't throw correctly. So people are always like, "Wow, great snap,
dude!" But your fairway, Josh.
That's true. I can throw 125 feet down the fairway.
Yeah, straight line every time.
Right. Silas Schultz. I'm picking him just because of historical information. I looked back a few years and just saw the trend that I think. According to that, now he could get better, and that's going to prove it wrong. But according to historical data, it seems like this one plays a little hard for him. And then my lock's Calvin Heimberg. That's just a percentage game. Most consistent player that's not Gannon right now, I feel like, and could play this course well. Here's one. Sarah Hokum. You realize you've watched, right? Like surgery in Europe, like can't play Worlds, can't play Ledgestone, can't make it back, has to stay over there to heal up. I'm a little concerned about all that because I'm hoping she's been playing a little bit. If she drops, guys, before the event, we all agree I can swap it out, but I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that. If she plays, I think she's a good pick because she's a top 10 finisher at this event, back-to-back years, 6th and 10th. So I think it's a course for her. Macy Veladiaz. Ben, did you pick her last week?
Yeah.
Did you drop or to pop? I don't remember.
Drop.
Okay. And what happened?
She got me points.
Okay. So I'm going with her this week. I think she's an extremely skilled player. I think her life has changed significantly, and it's hard to kind of like Katrina Allen. It's hard to keep up and whatever. Own Scoggins to lock. She's won before. She's coming off of serious momentum. That's my lock. There's others you could have put in there. Missy, there's a whole bunch. But Valerie, again, you guys make your picks. But I'm going with Own. All right, Ben, here's your picks coming up. Oh, baby.
Yup. Pop, Joey Tamale. Got to meet him on tour, and he's averaging not great, but I'm confident in him that
this is the event.
This is gonna be his weekend.
112 for him.
Yes. So
how many players are playing the event? 90?
Yeah, 99. So I'm at least gonna get something.
13. I think, didn't we put in a new rule? Isn't that rule in effect, or was that something like, I have to ask Shrek if it actually got put in. The rule would be you can't get more points than what the bottom place is. So he would have to outperform 99th, like starting there, and he'd get 1, 2, 3, 4, I think.
Are you sure? Because I've picked Taylor Chosek. Me and Josh did before.
Maybe it was a next year thing. Dave's gonna have to text me back, but I thought we had said something about that. Do you remember that, Josh? Ben? No.
I don't
know if it was implemented. To be honest, I can't even remember that conversation. So whatever it is, it is.
Drop Austin Turner. I've picked him to drop before, and he just plays so well. But then Ledgestone, he didn't play well for the first time ever, so maybe it carries over. Lock Isaac Robinson. He's a champ here. Pop Alexis Kerman. Just low average. Drop Macy. And lock Big Money Missy.
Yeah, that was the other one, Missy. So I'm glad we changed things up, Ben. We don't have any say.
I know. I need you took my Macy, but that's okay. It's okay.
Oh, that's true.
It's a strategy. It's a strategy.
It's the strat. All right, Josh. Oh, you picked the kid.
All right, I picked Zach. I mean, he's from Kentucky, so I don't know if
that's literally his home course.
Yep,
I'm pretty sure.
And it's been several years, but he has played really well there in the past. So anyway, it's a small gamble, but I think a good one. To drop is Simon. Like I don't know. Here's the thing about Simon. He could literally win this event, and he could also finish 60th place. So that's my gamble. And then I like Isaac to win. He won Idlewild before, and I thought we would never hear from him again. And here we are. So I'll never make that mistake again, not picking Isaac for Idlewild. And then, to pop Emily Weatherman, to drop Holland Hanley. I'm taking the gamble 2 weeks in a row on Holland. Could be a bad choice, but honestly, even if she wins, I only lose like 5 points. So, and then Owen Scoggins to lock. Just playing hot.
Yeah, my mistake last week was picking Emily Weatherman to drop, and she popped. So you could have it again. She's maybe back to playing at her, which would get her the points. Playing well.
Yeah. Yep. So there we go.
Okay. So Josh, you have on screen, thanks to Hooligan Disc. By the way, we do contact by email. For some reason we're delayed or you don't get the email, reach out to us. That usually works as well, but we're pretty on top of it for the most part. Josh, I'm going to put up on screen, and Ben, it's going to take up full screen here, but this showed up on my TV during the DGN broadcast. It was a conversation about FPO. And it said FP, and then it has in parentheses arity O. What they're trying to say is FPO, and there's a lot of parity in FPO. That's what they're trying to say here. And then it says in subheader, top performers in FPO this season. Top performers in FPO this season. Does anybody notice anything? Chat? Anybody?
What's up, chat?
Hannah Blomers, why isn't she there? That's it.
Top performers in FPO this season. Their list includes Holland Hanley, Silva Saarinen, Missy Gannon, Evelina Salonen, Owen Scoggins. Is there anything missing there? So, top performers in FPO this season. I immediately...
Someone has 3 wins.
Yep.
I thought it was 4.
No. So I immediately...
someone said 4 in our chat.
Say out loud, and I send it to the group chat. I say, why... Am I missing something? Why isn't Kristen in this? And
dun dun dun.
It could have been a mistake. And if it was a mistake, I was kind of surprised. Like, that's a significant mistake, I felt like. It could have been on purpose, and I'd like to know why. I texted somebody on the production I'll just say whoever's in charge of producing and directing, they make the ultimate call on what goes up. So this was okayed. And I texted and said, hey, did you realize the graphic left Kristen out when it was displayed during the event broadcast? I saw it and I assumed it was just a mistake, but maybe there's something I wasn't thinking of. The response, she was purposely left out. I figure that she's out for the year, not an actual player of the year contender. Is this shocking to you to hear, Ben? Or how do you feel?
Yeah,
she would be 3-0, and it would be strictly, as far as that goes, worse than Silva and Holland. There would be no argument for her. Now, I don't think that's what the graphic was. I don't think it said player of the year.
Yeah, the graphic didn't say player of the year.
Top
That would make
performance.
sense if it was player of the year.
It would?
It was just
There's
saying,
no conversation for Kristen?
yeah, I think no. Well, it doesn't make as much, but it makes more sense
It makes
than
more sense.
saying,
Like,
yeah,
so
that's
Owen.
an argument. This
Owen
one's
has
not an
worlds.
argument.
Yeah, Owen has Worlds. Evelina has U.S. Women's and Elite. They're trying to show that, right? But they're putting Holland up there with 4 Pro Tour wins and no majors. So it was confusing to me. I'm not trying to make this a scandal. What I am trying to do, and this is interesting.
Scandal.
It's an interesting topic here. I don't know if everyone feels this way, but is Kristen playing the rest of the year? Josh, you said social media post said.
Yeah,
Ultimately.
she said her goal is to come back for throw pink in the championship. So that's when I would expect to see her.
Yeah,
2 more events this year.
yeah. We'll see.
So the production said, yeah, I probably could have included her just for the sake of completeness. As in, like, sure. And then it said, I figured if it was 3 wins and no majors with no potential for improvement, I would take the other 5 first, meaning they had majors at least. Let's say Missy wins 1, Silva wins 1, Owen wins 1, or whatever. All those people are ahead of her. So it was kind of like there was no conversation. All of those people, he's saying. Now, I said that's fair as a producer or director to pick and choose because they have to at some level, right? Why didn't they include? Let me see. Why didn't they include Ella Hansen, right? Like, they didn't include Ella because their opinion, there's no conversation for it. So, like, it's a pick and choose thing. I get it. So that's not really an issue. I found it interesting, I said. He said, yeah, for sure. I originally had her on there. I just changed it when we were reviewing the graphics. And then I was like, well, if she wins throw pink and the finale, is it possible that someone could be swayed to say player of the year? Anyways, I'm just watching production closely. I appreciate it. And then he says, I assume she's not even playing those. And then Josh told me
6 days ago
she had mentioned she plans to. And then he's like, wow, okay, never mind then. Hope we have her. It would be an awesome story. And to be fair, he's saying, like, I love this type of input. We can get a lot better. In fact, if we had other competitors, we don't have any competitors in disc golf production, we'd even get better quicker. So, like, shout out to him. He's not trying to be like, I've got it all right. You guys. He's like, it was a conversation. But I'm saying is that was interesting. Yeah, go ahead.
Is this a subtle way of you announcing
the
staggered
competition?
staggered stances moving into live disc golf?
I said, dude,
Yes.
I love production. If I didn't have my current career job, I'd love to work with y'all or compete.
Okay. Yeah.
So, anyways,
No, like you.
did
like
anybody
you
else
said,
catch
it's just-
that? I don't know.
Yeah, from you. But I
Yeah.
actually did not. I was not streaming that live at that moment.
Yeah, I didn't
so-
catch it.
Like the commentators
sent
didn't
it.
say anything either. It just hit me as weird. I was almost like, is she like boycotting disc? Like, what's the reason? So interesting.
No.
It was just a production
Again,
thing.
like you said, not like a huge deal, but like I think it's wrong. But that's fine. But that's the debate of sports.
Well, the header says
Like,
top performers.
right. That's what I'm saying. It's not like most
If it
likely
said-
candidates to win Player of the Year.
But
And even then,
if
by
it
the way,
said that-
I know you got to leave Kristen on there, like.
Like,
Because she
Player
could
of the Year
she
top?
could have 5. She could have 5 wins. Technically, you can't count throw pink on there, Matt. So remove it. But if she
I
has
know.
4 wins, and one of them is the championship, you should at least be stalking.
well,
that
to be fair,
Kristen
Josh,
could be in the
voters
conversation.
voters can count on vote on throw
yeah,
paint.
sure they can.
So
yeah,
that's my
right.
point. Is
Yeah.
I know it's not a major, and it wasn't going to put it in the major column, but voters could be like, hey, that sways me. If she wins that and the finale is considered a major now, right? Or it's something.
It's not a major, but it's
What do they consider it? I know there was conversation recent year about.
It's like that. Elite double plus.
Double backflip plus.
Yeah, squared.
That's squared. It's something. But my point is, like, there could be voters swayed to that. I just found that interesting. I don't think it was a knock at her intentionally. In fact, it sounds like it was based off of thinking she wasn't playing the rest of the season, which let's talk about that for 30 seconds.
And thinking that it was a player of the year graphic.
And thinking it was a player. Yeah, so all of that. It was just a little flub. How likely is it that she does make it over here, Josh? What do you think?
Oh,
50-50.
Yeah, it's hard because we still don't really know what she's dealing with. She talked about, health, mental. So it's like, if she's not ready, then she's not going to come. I think that part, she is now making those decisions that she feels like are the right decisions. So like you talk about inertia, it's in her favor now, right? Like she's going to do whatever she feels like. So it's impossible for me to speculate what she'll feel like. But I think she's over the fact of feeling pressured to return for those events, right? So like, she will be there if she's ready to play and she wants to play them. And if she's like, honestly, that just sounds like more travel for only 2 events at the end of the year, then she's out. So like Ben said, like I have no way of knowing, which makes it a 50-50.
Yeah, it just depends how she's feeling at that time.
There's
now, it's probably optimistic.
Yeah, I think she would probably be like, if I'm not ready, then I'm just fine with not showing up to him. My year's a wrap. 2025 year. This is her contract year, right? Like, I have no idea.
I don't see her getting paid less.
No, I don't, and I have no idea what the impact. I'm not even prepared to speculate. I haven't thought a lot about it, except like talk about a weird way to end a year that's a contract year. That's just not normally how it goes down. I mean, the players can't control how they win, but like it's a pretty dramatic finish to a year when you're trying to say, I want to be paid at the top of the game. So I agree, Ben. I don't think she's like losing, but like she certainly didn't like accelerate herself further, and maybe she doesn't need to either. But
to like make more money.
Yeah, I mean it's like
Gannon.
Yeah,
good example. Gannon. I think I'm allowed to say this.
You better think twice. I mean, I want you to say everything. So, but don't.
I'll just say this: Gannon, after the whole when he got sued by Prodigy, he was going to leave to another company, and then he won. That year, he won 11 events.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, like, it was kind of a good thing that he didn't leave then because he was able to win 11 events. And companies care about 11 events. If you picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah. I mean, here's the deal. Again, this is a future conversation, but just like because we're talking about it, is if Kristen went out and won 2 majors this year and won 6 events, and didn't finish off the podium.
Yeah, she's getting paid. That's what I'm trying to say.
That is totally different than what we're doing.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Kristen will still be one of the most respected, like marketable, like professional player. Like none of that has like gone away, right? So she's still like very valuable monetarily from a sponsorship standpoint, but it's just a different story. So I don't know. That's interesting. But yeah, so Matt, should have been on the graphic, 50-50 whether we see her again this year, which is weird. We didn't see much of the European field at all, or did we see any of them at Ledgestone? I think it was the Finnish National Championship, which a few of our big players
was there, and I don't know who else.
There's a lot of travel back and forth. That'll settle here. There's only 6 events left this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty crazy. So we are definitely in whatever the proverbial home stretch, right? So
I know it's crazy. Well, then soon it'll be smug.
Literal home stretch for Ben.
Yeah.
Like coming home.
And we're going to get a few different like breaks between. We haven't had much of that this year, right? So like, I think we have an event this weekend, but then maybe a weekend off and then an event and then a break. And so like, it's going to be, 6 events going to take us through the next 2 months. And 2025 is a wrap. It's crazy. A lot of the big storylines have already unfolded. Worlds, right? Some of the majors, the European swing. A lot of the main stories have happened. So maybe we tee it up for a conversation next week. But like, what do we expect the stories to be? Total speculation. But like, what stories can shift with, 5 or 6 events left this year? Like if Gannon goes out and wins 3 or 4 of them, it's the same story we were just talking about, but it's like ramped up. Like it's crazy, right? If Gannon doesn't win, and I'm just totally making this up, but if Paul McBeth, who hasn't had a win in almost 2 years, if he wins 3 events, and so I'm not predicting that, but like it is like the end of the year is a totally different conversation. We're talking about something different in October. If Paul wins like D-Glow, MVP, and USDGC. And it's not just Paul. If Ricky does that or anyone, I'm just saying, yeah, well, right. It's getting
All
crazy talk. And so I'm stating the obvious, just talking MPO. FPO has the same thing. Holland's been quiet, but if Holland like wins a few more events, that whole graphic you put up, Matt, right? It's like, it's sealed, right? If Holland gets 7 wins this year, so I guess I'm stating the obvious. My point is though, you can only sway so much and there's only 6 events. And with each weekend that goes, it's going to get tighter. And, we're going to wrap up the year. Maybe it feels early to talk about that, but we're only talking like 8 total weeks left.
Count
like
it. Gannon's player of the year.
I can't imagine because even the story I just made up about someone else winning, I still think Gannon probably still wins player of the year.
Yes.
That's what's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't
could
think anybody catch him?
So
could anybody catch him?
The only
if AB won like 5 of the 6 events.
No, it would have to be Niklas.
Okay.
I think it would have to be Niklas.
If AB won 5 of 6, which is kind of a silly thing to say, but if he did that, including USDGC, he gets it.
But the world's talk is just tough here, like worlds.
It is, but if you literally win all the playoff events, and USDGC, and you have more wins total, but that's like practically impossible. So Gannon's got it in the bag.
I just want to touch on a good opportunity for a fundraiser, Throw for More.
Yes.
So Throw for More, Paul McBeth Foundation. The Throw for More is presented by UDisc. They're donating a 10 cents for every round played on September 20th. But as a side, walkathon / discathon part of that, people like us, and you included, can make a profile that says we're raising money for this good cause. I'm going to play X amount of holes and just say how many, 8 holes, 9 holes, 8 holes. That's funny. Maple Hill, 8 holes. I'm going to play 18 holes, 36 holes, 54, whatever it is on that day. And people can donate per hole. I feel, because I'm part of this, I feel like a lot of this is going to ramp up towards the end here as we get closer. But they're only at just about 3,500 out of 15,000, their goal. I know a lot of people are going to be raising and getting out there. I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to actually try to hit up specific people and be like, I'm doing this. How much can you give me per hole? Like, I'm going to ask. I'm going to try to raise money for this good cause.
Todd Rainwater.
Yeah, Todd. How much per hole? $1 million. Woohoo! Per hole. Yeah, let's go. If I go to our team page, fun fact, Ben Kenny is winning after last week's show.
Yeah.
People said, no matter what, if you're going for Matt or if you're going for Josh, just donate it to Ben. So Ben now is $110.
And I didn't get to shout it out last time. Shout out. Who donated? Hold
Peter
on.
Pumpkin Eater?
Peter Pumpkin Eater. And it says, Mr. Pumpkin Eater at your service. So like,
Doc
I have 2 anonymous donos.
Yeah. So
here, there's my link if you want to donate. Bang.
Lots of givers.
He
Disc
put it
golfers
in
are
there.
generous.
It's in our show description. Obviously, you're going to have to feel motivated to do that. And a lot of times it's not like you're motivated, like, I'm going to click in and pay, but do it. It'll be cool. We'll see you on there. Give us a little shout out. I'm going to try to raise money directly. This is not for us. This is for Paul McBeth Foundation and what they're doing. Thank you to UDisc for supporting that as well. So that's all.
You catch any fun Philo Brathwaite quips this weekend?
Oh, can I say something?
I don't know if you can or not.
Yes. No, that you bring that up. One of the funniest things I heard Philo say, and it's not going to be funny to anyone, but when we were watching, because you guys were like, it's hilarious Gannon's playing so fast. So we watched it back to see like what it looked like on coverage. And Philo said, because they were trying to figure out what happened and they were just guessing incorrectly. Yeah. And Philo said, man, I just wish like Gannon would do this more. Just trust his instincts. And I died laughing as if like that's what Gannon was trying to do, trust his instincts. So I thought that was a funny moment for me because that was not even close as to what, but it was just funny seeing how grasp that straw is like what is happening mid round.
Yeah.
Trust
it
his
threw
instincts.
everybody for a loop. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Ledgestone always brings it. Lots of good conversation.
Brings the boom.
Yeah, and Idlewild's going to be a great event too. Always is.
LWS. Okay, I will say this. I feel bad for Blake Schaefer, LWS. No one calls it LWS Open. It's always Idlewild. Should have picked a different event.
Well, is it the LWS Open at Idlewild? Is that it?
Yeah, but I've never heard anyone say, everyone calls it Idlewild. I don't know why. Every other event, they call it by the name for some reason.
Well, it's because
Idlewild.
the course's name is Idlewild. Most people say
but
MVP,
we don't call it Maple Hill. Yeah, we don't call it Maple Hill. We call it MVP
you
Open,
hear it a little bit interchangeable. I think that's part of it. It's actually the course name. It was never like an event name that changed. But I know what you're saying. I agree. I think it's just there's a little bit easier to be like I'm going to Idlewild because
I remember Evan Kearns, PGA
correcting us nonstop.
Employee, being like, you mean LWS Open at Idlewild? Because because they get paid from that.
That'll do, my friends.
Evan
never corrects Ben though.
LW,
so I don't believe
no,
that.
Dude.
Right,
correcting.
Evan? Right, Evan?
Do you feel like we'll close out on this and people are going to either love it or hate it? Philo corrects Ian all the time. And the funniest part to me was, so I forget the exact scenario, but Ian called out this guy is about to shoot a course record. Okay. Something like that. I met Luke Taylor, somebody. And Philo goes, he isn't thinking about that. And Ian goes, no, Philo. That's our job to do. And then Philo goes, no, that's his job to do. And I'm like, what the heck just happened there, bro? You guys just went in a full circle. I can't even understand.
I feel like quite often I'm pretty sure that Ian catches Philo say something wrong, but he's trying not to constantly correct.
I know.
Because if Ian corrects Philo always pushes back.
I know.
And so I think Ian's just I'll let him say whatever he wants to say.
I haven't noticed that because I don't watch the coverage. I watch live, but
it just cracked me up because literally Ian says he has a course record. Philo says he's not thinking about it. So Ian goes, no, we're thinking about it. He goes, no, that's for him to think about. And I'm like,
I will say Gannon was thinking about it. So
either way, Ian is
in the stretch.
Ian is, I don't want to say a saint. That's too far, but Ian is he's figured out how to manage that and just move on. This is just how it is.
Crazy.
Philo.
Yeah, I know. That's what we're going to do this now.
Hey, good luck to PDJM Worlds players. It's a lot of fun if you're in that event. That's happening now, right?
Is this the New York one that I told Ben we were
this
gonna
weekend? Play? No, I'll play. Is that next year, New York?
Where was this year?
This year's in...
I don't even know.
We should literally know.
Missouri, I think.
Yes,
I think it's Missouri.
It is Missouri.
Okay. Because I would. Yeah, it's
Harmony Benz.
I would like to try to figure out next year. I don't think it will happen because I'm bringing the kids to Junior Worlds, but maybe we'll have to see.
Hey, if you're playing PDJM Worlds, comment on this show on YouTube, and I'll mention your name next week. We'll look up how you did, and we'll mention it.
Cool stuff, everybody. I'm sure we missed something. Probably offended someone. Probably made someone smile. Thanks to TitanDiscGolf.com for sponsoring. Supporting and sponsoring. That's pretty cool. Sponsoring. Remember, guys, get all your stuff over there. You know who it is. You can support them. They're not big business, but they have everything you need. That's big business. Well, right around the corner, get your pop drop lock picks in.
Yep.
The LWS Open at Idlewild.
That's right.
That's the first time that was said on this podcast.
No, we've said it before.
Blake, if you're listening, dude, good luck. I'm sure you got a lot going on. Talk to you guys later. Until next time, everyone, will see you out there. Peace.